She shattered records. She filled arenas. She single-handedly ignited a revolution in women's basketball that the sport had never seen before. And yet, when the moment came to officially crown Caitlin Clark as the WNBA's Rookie of the Year, the most dominant debut in the league's modern history, the celebration amounted to a phone call on a coach's speakerphone. No cameras. No stage. No commissioner in the room. Just a voice through a cell phone, and then silence. But the story of how that moment unfolded, and what it reveals about the complicated machinery behind women's professional basketball, is far more layered than anyone realized at the time. To understand it fully, you have to go back to the beginning. Back to two girls growing up in the Midwest, separated by just a few hundred miles and a few months on the calendar, who would grow up to reshape the entire landscape of women's sports. Paige Bueckers was born in October 2001 in the suburbs of Minneapolis, Minnesota. She was prodigiously talented from the moment she picked up a basketball, fluid, fearless, impossibly composed for her age. By the time she was finishing high school, she had become the #1 recruit in the entire nation. The undisputed crown jewel of her class. She went on to star at UConn, one of the most storied programs in the history of women's college basketball, and she delivered on every ounce of that promise. 3 months after Bueckers came into the world, in January 2002, a girl named Caitlin Clark was born in the suburbs of Des Moines, Iowa. She was ranked the 4th best high school recruit in the country, exceptional by any standard, yet somehow still underestimated. What followed at the University of Iowa was not just a great college career. It was a phenomenon. A cultural earthquake. Clark became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history, men's or women's, and transformed every arena she walked into. Two girls. Two destinies. Destined to be linked forever. Both would be drafted into the WNBA. Both would win Rookie of the Year. And both would become the faces of a league in the middle of a seismic transformation. But the parallels stop there, because when you actually look at the numbers, when you examine the cold, hard data of what each player produced, the comparison almost becomes unfair to make. Clark's 2024 rookie season was historic on every level. She averaged 19.2 points per game, 8.4 assists per game, and 5.7 rebounds per game. Her Indiana Fever, a franchise that had languished in obscurity for years, suddenly became must-see television. They made the playoffs. They filled buildings. Clark averaged 17,036 fans per home game across the season, a number that would be impressive for many NBA franchises, let alone a WNBA team. She wasn't just good. She was transformative. Bueckers, in her 2025 rookie season, also averaged 19.2 points per game, matching Clark's scoring output exactly. But the similarities end there. Bueckers had 5.4 assists per game and 3.9 rebounds per game, noticeably below Clark's numbers in both categories. And her Dallas Wings, despite the excitement surrounding her arrival, finished an eye-watering 10-34. No playoffs. No deep runs. No postseason magic. Just a long, grueling season in a small arena in Arlington, Texas, where the listed capacity is just 6,251 people. Here is where the story gets uncomfortable. Here is where the numbers stop being just numbers and start telling a story about two players who, despite being constantly mentioned in the same breath, are operating in entirely different gravitational fields when it comes to fan engagement. The Wings managed to sell out their modest arena, all 6,251 seats, only 7 times in 20 home games during the 2025 season. 7 times. There were, however, 2 exceptions, 2 home games that were relocated entirely, moved out of that intimate suburban arena and into the 19,200-seat American Airlines Center, home of the NBA's Dallas Mavericks. And the reason for those relocations? Caitlin Clark was coming to town. Even as a visitor. Even playing for the opposing team. Clark's gravitational pull was so powerful that her road appearances required a venue upgrade just to meet the demand. Meanwhile, back in Indiana, Clark's Fever were drawing over 16,500 fans per home game even in 2025, a season in which Clark missed significant time due to injury. Think about that. A team missing its best player, its drawing card, its reason for being, and still averaging more than 16,000 fans a night. That is not a sports story. That is a cultural movement with a jersey number. And yet, despite all of it, the records, the attendance figures, the television ratings, the magazine covers, the sold-out arenas, the nationwide conversation, when it came time to formally celebrate Clark's Rookie of the Year award in 2024, what happened was remarkably quiet. WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert called into a fever practice in Connecticut during the playoffs. The call came through on head coach Christy Side's cell phone, placed on speakerphone in the middle of practice. Congratulations were offered. And that was it. That was the celebration. Fast forward 1 year. When Paige Bueckers was named Rookie of the Year for the 2025 season, Commissioner Engelbert did not call a cell phone. She showed up in person at the Jennifer Hudson show to present the award to Bueckers live, on camera, in front of an audience. It was visible. It was celebratory. It was the kind of recognition befitting the league's most prestigious individual honor. The internet noticed immediately. Clark's fans took to social media in force, pointing out the striking contrast in how the two moments had been handled. The optics, to put it mildly, were not great for the league. But here is where the story takes its most surprising turn, because according to a WNBA spokesman, the narrative of institutional neglect toward Clark is not what it appears to be. Ron Howard, a spokesman for the WNBA, addressed the issue directly in a text message sent in September of 2025. In that message, Howard stated that the league had, in fact, offered to come to Indianapolis after the team's season concluded and hold a proper press conference to celebrate Clark's award. They also offered to have NBA Entertainment conduct a formal sit-down interview with Clark. Additionally, Howard indicated that an opportunity had been presented to have Clark appear on Good Morning America, a national platform that would have brought her Rookie of the Year recognition to millions of viewers. All of those offers, Howard wrote, were declined by the Indiana Fever organization and by Clark's own representation. When reporters followed up and asked both the Fever and Clark's agent directly about the contents of that text message, both parties declined to comment. And so the full picture remains, in some ways, unresolved. What we know is this: the offers were made. The opportunities existed. Whether the decisions to decline them were made for strategic reasons, scheduling conflicts, contractual considerations, or something else entirely, no one on Clark's side has chosen to say publicly. What we do know, with absolute certainty, is that Caitlin Clark remains the most compelling force in women's basketball. After an injury-plagued 2025 season that tested her durability and her fan